Hey, Salut Friends. Today we are looking at some vanilla fragrances. Frankly, I was a bit surprised that I even had about 12 of them. Having said that, I don't go for overly sugary, cupcake, candy floss, screechy maltol kind of calorific vanilla fragrances, or when the smell is all about vanilla and there is nothing much going on. They may smell nice scent-wise, but I find them boring after a while, to be frank. So these are the ones that use vanilla in a way that I actually enjoy wearing. So let's go over them one by one in no particular order. I will also mention my favorite at the end. First is Fahrenheit Le Parfum, composed by François Demachy, who we dearly miss in hindsight, especially with the kind of work that Francis Coupejean has been doing. The Parfum version is a more contemporary, boozy, vanillic take on the original EDT. The EDT does this trick of emphasizing the cool aspects with the ozonic violet, whereas the Parfum actually embraces the warm aspects, notably with this bourbon vanilla. Additional spices, mandarin and patchouli are also present. There is this ozonic dry hay accord in the background, a signature Parfum flanker that only Dior, or should I say Demachy, can do convincingly. Next, let's do Jersey from Chanel. Of course, part of their lace exclusives collection composed by Jacques Polge, inspired by the jersey knit fabric that Chanel brought into trend for making comfortable dresses. This is a lavender vanilla musk combo which has been done over and over again, both in fragrances marketed to women and men. Only here it has that Chanel DNA and elegance. The lavender still brings in a touch of herbal, aromatic, bitter, spicy inflection, but the vanilla kind of engulfs it, giving it this sweet, purple, glossy image. Additionally, the florals like jasmine and rose highlight more of the softer, floral aspects of the lavender and vanilla. Olivier Polge later revisited this theme, doing a full-on fougere with Boy, which is more popular nowadays. As such, this is not mentioned frequently as one of the preferred exclusives, more of a simple, casual, comforting scent that I enjoy for what it is, especially for the Chanel styling. Next, let's do an acclaimed budget option, though the prices seem to have gone up in recent years. This is Eau de Beau from L'Occitane, created by Karine Dubreuil. This is an ambery, dry, dusty, almost gummy interpretation of vanilla with spiciness from cardamom and pepper. Huge tonka, coumarin component in there as well, giving it that soapy, hygiene products sensation, obviously with it being L'Occitane. A touch of incense and cypress in there, possibly even some tobacco, which is why it gets compared to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. Not overly sweet, still manages to stay classic. Fantastic value for the price. I used to wear it a lot to the office, especially during colder days. Next, let's do an interesting indie brand. This is Fleur Cachée from Anatole Lebreton. Usually when vanilla is taken in the culinary direction, it's on the sweeter side. This, on the other hand, takes it in the spicy, savory side. There is this soft sandalwood and vanilla combo with Peru balsam. So there's a creaminess, woodiness, balsamic quality rather than sweet stickiness. This is dispersed with lots of spices we don't see that often, like turmeric, fenugreek and sesame, in addition to black pepper. It creates this spicy, pungent, licorice, cooking prep like concoction, which is then smoothened by the cream woody vanilla base, a quirky take on vanilla. At number 5, let's do one that has amber in the name, but for me it's more of a vanilla. This is Histoire de Parfum, Ambre 114. This is definitely inspired by Ambre Précieux from Maître Parfumeur et Gantier. It's that obvious, only it's more soft, creamy, woody, cozy and dandified. Lots of tonka, benzoin, musks, rose and geranium. It has this rose-like pink inflection that some ambers tend to have. Quite powdery as well. Some may even think it's feminine because of the powdery, borderline violet-like makeup hints it has. It's not heavy or sweet or overbearing like some other vanillas and ambers. More of a casual, effortless amber for me. At 6, let's go to Hermès, which is not a house that one goes to when thinking of vanilla, but they do have some. Vanille from the Hermès collection, which has now been discontinued. Ambre Narguil has lots of vanilla. Even this Merveilles line has Ambre des Merveilles, which is full on vanilla. The one I wanted to feature here is Elixir des Merveilles by Jean-Claude Elena, who is also not particularly known for vanilla or gourmand scents. This is a collection that usually flies under the radar but seems to be a hit with the wider public. This takes the Starry Nights ambergris setting of the original Eau des Merveilles and moves it to a golden orange sunset. As in, the resinous balsamic facets come in with the caramel, tonka, Peru balsam and of course lots of vanilla. It's quite sweet, sticky and yet elegant and not juvenile. The cedar and patchouli helps balance out the balsamic, sweet, syrupy facets. Still very much an Hermès. This sheer orange mineralic signature is maintained here. Reminds me of this Indian dessert called jamun, probably the closest they have come to doing a gourmand. At 7 is Tuxedo from Yves Saint Laurent. This tries to do a couture interpretation of vanilla with lots of patchouli and amber. There is a huge ozonic violet in there to give it the sensation of a fabric. Along with the vanilla, it comes across almost boozy. A combo of florals, rose and lily of the valley, adds this classic touch. Easily the most popular from this line. Is it overpriced? Yes. I look at it almost like a designer signature fragrance, because that's how it comes across to me. In fact, that's how the entire Le Vestiaire collection feels like. The price I paid for this bottle also reflects that. If only YSL released this instead of disposable stuff like Myself in their signature line. At 8 is Lune Féline from Atelier Dior, created by Marie Selemani, who is known for her sweet gourmand creations. This is a balsamic, spicy, musky take on vanilla, somewhat in the similar bracket as Elixir des Merveilles. Huge cardamom, one of the better interpretations of this spice, which happens to be my favorite. Additionally, there is cinnamon, tolu balsam and a huge vanilla. It's real vanilla extract apparently, which is not as approachable as vanillin, which is cheap and used in pretty much most fragrances, even if it's not a listed note. It's more dark, somewhat smoky and leathery. The other interesting facet is this furry musk and ambergris accord, along with styrax, which can come across like new band-aids at times. A quality, spicy, cozy vanilla, the only one I own from the brand. One of the few houses that have not increased their prices post-pandemic and can even be found at discounters. 9 is Lipstick Rose from Frederic Malle, another house one doesn't think of when talking about vanilla. Composed by Rod Schwieger, an underrated perfumer for the debut launch of the brand in the 2000s, before this style of fragrance even became trendy. Iris, rose, violet, heliotrope, along with the prominent powdery, creamy vanilla being the dominant notes. Some fruitiness in there as well from lychee and raspberry, drying down to this soft, creamy sandalwood and amber. Gets compared to Misia from Chanel, which to be honest seems to be inspired by this. To me, this has two sides. One is the mischievous, glamorous, lush, sweet, velvety vintage lipstick side. The other is this innocent, humorous, nostalgic side. Particularly reminds me of talcum powders from my childhood because of the sweet, powdery, vanillic smell. Probably the most traditionally feminine leaning scent from Malle, but I am still fine with wearing it for this cozy, nostalgic connection. 10 is one that is considered as the holy grail vanilla by many people, Spiritueuse DUI from Guerlain, created by Jean-Paul Guerlain for their arts and materials collection. This, as per the name, is an overdose of vanilla. It opens quite sweet, syrupy, boozy from the rum accord and camphoraceous from the pink pepper. Probably the most stripped down interpretation from this list, using multiple forms of vanilla extract and vanillin, but still, if you compare it with the bombastic, tooth-achingly sweet vanilla fragrances of today, it is rather restrained. As it dries down, the vanillic facets become mellow, the floral, woody aspects start to come in, taking it in the resinous, balsamic, ambre direction. Touches of some darker notes like incense, tonka and tobacco also weave in and out. This became the modern vanillic signature for Guerlain that can be noticed in others within and outside this collection. Cuir Beluga, Angelique Noir, those could also fit in this list. A rich, elegant, beautiful, golden interpretation of vanilla. The price also reflects that. Not sure if it's worth that much, but when I'm in the mood for it, it's really enjoyable. Next is Vanille Havane from Les Indemodables, composed by Antoine Lee. This is a duet of tobacco and vanilla as per the name, but there are a lot of other elements, cacao, leather, amber and dried fruits, all make it super addictive and appealing. Obviously there's a gourmand side like Middle Eastern chocolates. Some have dried fruits like figs, raisins and dates mixed with dark chocolate. Then boozy, leathery pipe tobacco with the gentleman's club vibe, complementing the festive dried fruits, all brought together by the sweet, scotched, borderline animalic vanilla. The best parts of the scent for me, apart from the smell of course, are the evocative texture, the blending and the quality of materials that this house is known for. The issue of many of this style of scents drying down to woody ambers is not here. Additionally, I find this to be resonating, unlike some others from the house, which end up being just material showcase pieces. It is the most inviting and full-bodied offering from this brand. There is a reason why this is their best seller and why they have already made 2 flankers. Thoughts on those I will save for another day. I finally got this at a deal this year after waiting more than 2 years since I sampled it. It is absolutely exquisite. This is why I don't have Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. This will likely top my fragrance lists for the notes of tobacco, cacao, even gourmand fragrances, and of course, vanilla. 12 is more of an honorable mention because it has been discontinued. This is Fève Delicieuse from Dior Collection Privée. My top of the line guilty pleasure, created by François Dimanche of course. Apparently it did not do well in some markets, which is contrary to the online popularity it had. Obviously the name is referring to tonka bean, but vanilla is equally prominent. It's got this boozy, cherry liquor-like sensation, quite a sweet, powdery, gummy, ambery experience, still manages to stay elegant somehow, just like Tonka Imperial from Guerlain, with which it has a lot of resemblance, also discontinued unfortunately. So now the only way to experience this signature is from the super expensive Tonka Extrait. Thankfully I have this CD era big unit that will last me a long time. Apart from these, there are some other nice vanillas from Féline like Black Tie and Dame Paris, which are good. Ambre Vanille from Serge Lutens, quite good in their own style. There's also Tihota from Indult, which is another one that is considered by many as the holy grail of vanilla. I do like it, just not enough to buy a bottle. Some others like Lyra Italica from Xerjoff, which I'm not big on. Hundreds of other vanillas have been released in the last few years. It seems to be a popular note that keeps getting even more popular with time. In any case, at this point, I think I already own some of the best ones out there, and it has to be something extraordinary for me to consider purchasing. Alright, so there you have it, my list of vanilla fragrances. Thanks for watching, take care and ciao.